All right. So what happens when we do start to get mass-produced print or mass communication through printing? So we're talking the mid 15th century, and we have sort of a situation in Europe where there is religious tension in sort of the between Catholicism and this emerging variant of Christianity called Protestantism, right? And we have a number of other socio-political circumstances and economic circumstances that make the printing press have a particular kind of impact. And the main sort of scholar who has investigated all of this stuff and written the sort of definitive account of the printing press is a woman named Elizabeth Eisenstein, and her article on the printing press is linked on Moodle. And so I'm just going to summarize that a little bit. It's combined with what's in the textbook too. Basically, her assessment boils down to some people say that the printing press changed everything. And some people say that, it's just a technology. It was all the other stuff going on in the world, and it just, that really mattered. And, the technology just fit in with what was already there. And Eisenstein says it's a little bit of both, essentially. And so we want to be cognizant of this as a way of accounting for the impact of media on society, that some people who are called technological determinists say that basically the technology, once the technology is invented, it automatically essentially changes things around, what the technology can be used for. On the other end of the spectrum is, this idea of, social constructionism, essentially, that technology is only, whatever technology does is only a function of kind of the social, economic, political, cultural forces that already exist in the world. And in reality, it's a mix of both, right? And so Eisenstein says, for instance, it's undeniable that the printing press helped to spread Protestantism by basically making the Bible able to be mass produced in a standardized way. And in turn, this was also associated with an increase in literacy and more people learning to read and wanting to learn to read because books were more readily available. She's saying that without this technology, this would not have happened. And this is especially important because not only does it mean people can sort of, do new things, but it helps to usher in kind of an entirely, an entire new way of thinking about yourself. That if you're able to sort of have this private experience of reading a book and sort of getting the teachings of Christianity yourself, and you're not reliant on a religious authority figure, then you start to sort of think of yourself as more of an individual, perhaps. So she's drawing a connection between sort of the role of media and the ways that people think about who they are fundamentally as one of these major impacts of media on society. On the other hand, she says, all kinds of stuff had to already be in place for this revolutionary change to happen with the printing press. People had to sort of have an appetite for, again, this like news or movement in religion to begin with. There had to be the conditions that were, already existing in Europe for people to be entrepreneurial and try to make businesses out of printing, right? And so this long quote here summarizes essentially what she says is also on the other end, to the sort of the social constructionist point, how the printing press didn't just automatically create the changes that it did, is that it's this combination of technology that can do new things with a particular set of sociocultural historical circumstances that enable that technology to do what it does.